my folder that I want to keep my work. Okay, my folder is what? It's El Captain on my desktop. So now I'm gonna run npx create React app. I'm gonna name it the exact same thing, okay? Because I'm confident in myself that I know how to delete the folder and make another one. It's not that complicated.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So you have after React app, you have R and then dash.
Yes.
Is this a name?
I choose to call it R for React. I have many projects on my computer. I call it R dash for React. I have another one, RB for Ruby, when I make Ruby projects. I have another one for RN for when I make React Native projects. There are many different types of projects, okay? This takes a while. Are we recording? Yes, we're recording. We're gonna get prepared. We're gonna get prepared. Okay, so I expect to see in just a moment that we have another project called R something. Okay, right now I do not have a project in my El Captain called R Ruby. Fuck, I should have chosen a better name. Fuck, whatever, I can change it. It's taking a while. Is anyone here torrenting? We should not be torrenting at Coder School. I'm just kidding, I do it all the time. We got a problem, Houston. Why is it taking so long? Create React app. React, rock, paper, scissors. Come on, baby. Wow, why is it taking so long? Okay, guys, I successfully created a new project, right? Didn't we just do that? ls. What command did we just run?
npm.
No, but we just created a new project, correct? Right? Isn't the folder called r-rock paper scissors? Okay. So now we're going to move into it. Okay. We noticed that master is set up already. What's the next step? Let's open up our code editor. Okay. Set up our tools. Now I'm going to run npm start to see whether or not this works correctly. Does it work correctly? Okay, we got our project running. Okay, so I'm gonna close this window. I'm gonna look at our code editor. I'm gonna change one file. You guys should only be touching this one file right now, okay? Only app. So I'm going to delete everything in here. I'm just gonna add an H1. I'm gonna say, hi world. We save and I refresh and we see that this updates. Remember now we're building paper, rock, scissors. So we need to introduce state. Okay, I don't want you guys to remember this command. I don't know what to tell you. So I want you to use the snippet, okay? RCC tab, and it automatically creates everything for you. Okay? And I'm gonna paste in that style that I had a moment ago, and then just do an H1 now, okay? We're gonna say rock, paper, scissors. Okay? Save it, refresh, I see rock, paper, scissors. Why is this not centered? We do have the styles, but we didn't pass the class name. Okay? What was it called? App. I save it or refresh it, we see that it's centered, okay? So what was the next step, guys? We got to be able to capture when a user makes a state change, right? We're going to say, hey, the user chooses rock, paper, or scissors. How are we going to capture that idea? With a button. We're going to use our onClick prop. We're going to pass it a function. And the first thing we're going to do is just simply test that we can fire the function. I always want you guys testing before you do anything else. Test, okay? I test it, I click it, I'm running the function. The function is in fact firing, okay? But that is not good enough. We want to do what? When the user clicks the button, what do we want to do, guys? Come on, I did this like an hour ago. This.setState. This.setState right here, okay? What goes inside of this.setState? Yep, no. What data type? It's an object. Okay, thank you, Feng and Hua. It's okay, we all make mistakes, okay? It's always an object that goes in this .set state. It is never, ever, 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 ever going to be a string. It's never, ever, ever going to be a 1 or a 2 or a float. It's always going to be an object that goes inside of set state, okay? So this is a float. This is an object. The special thing about objects are that they have keys and values. And when we call this .set state and we pass it an object, what does the give me the shape. What shape should this object have? It should have the key that we want to update and the value that we want to update. So I want to update the choice, and the value I want to do is rock. Okay, we're just gonna do rock one time just to prove it. I save it, I click. Did we update? I'm clicking. Did I update? I don't know. Actually, we did. I'm pretty sure we did, but I don't know. Okay, we need to know. So I'm gonna use this tool I told you guys download right here. It's just another tool. I click React. I can see my choices rock. I refresh. What is our state here? If I click this, what do we see? So we did in fact update the state of our application. But what is the problem over here? We didn't let our user know. It's very simple. We didn't let them know that we actually received their click. You know, we need to do that. That's how programming works and UIs work. Okay? So now we're gonna introduce a new div. And inside this div, we're gonna say player. Okay? Player choice might be a better name. Player choice. And then beneath that, we're just going to nest some JavaScript in here. And what are we going to stick inside of here? What do we want to stick inside here? What do you want to show the user? We want to show them the state of their choice. So we're going to do this.state.choice. Very simple. Okay? I save it. Oops. This.state.choice. So why is it complaining, guys? Right? So the problem is we need to give our application some default state. This is not a silent error. Sometimes JavaScript can give you silent errors. This is not one of those situations. This is a loud error. It's saying you cannot do anything else until you solve this problem. Do you see how it's giving me the screen? I'm not allowed to do anything else. You gotta fix this problem. Okay? So we're gonna do state equals, we're gonna say choice is equal to an empty string. We save it and we see that our problem goes away. Right? Let's look at our choice again. What is our choice? Empty string. I click this button, and our choice becomes rock. Okay, so now we also see that we have rock here, indicating that, indicating to the user that we captured their idea, their state, right? So how can we add additional features, additional choices? Just gotta copy these lines, right? Rock, paper, scissors. Okay? Now I guarantee you, for each one of these buttons I click, this choice is going to change to something different. Rock, paper, scissors. This didn't come from magic. This came from one function call. What function did we call?
Set state.
What was the argument we gave to set state?
Object.
Yes. What describe that object? Tell me about its shape.
Keys, the choice, and the values as the string.
Correct. Okay, so we have that concept memorized, and just notice how that we're showing this to our user. We're letting them know that, hey, we captured it. Okay, the scissors, rocks, and paper is also changing right here. Okay, so now the question becomes, how can we do the same thing for a computer? This.state. Should this be the same right here? Should I leave that?
We should have PC choice.
We should introduce a new piece of state. Okay? Because the state of a computer's choice is not the same as mine. Okay? So how are we going to do this? Well, the thing about what's special about React, or not really special, one of the things that you know is that we can define as many functions as we want. Remember I keep talking about functions and I want you guys to write these, a lot of them, right? Well, this is why I want you to do this, because if you guys want to learn how to use React, you got to know how to write functions, okay? So now we're going to write one. We're going to say play game, play round, okay? That's going to be a function. We can tell it's a function based on what? The parentheses. Every function also must have a body, okay? So now let's just make sure we can fire it, okay? Throw some things in there. When do we want to fire this function, guys? When they click a button, right? This function is going to encapsulate all the logic that we need in order to play our game. Okay? So we're going to update line 26, 27, 28. Instead of firing this dot set state, we're going to fire this dot play round. Okay? And now we're just going to pass it. Okay, I can't do this right here because these are different links. Now for each one of these, we're just going to pass it what we want to be. We want to pass the play round the user's choice. Okay? So we're going to pass it a rock right here. We're going to pass a paper right here. Okay? Then we're going to pass scissors right here. You guys all with me? Okay? So refresh. I expect that whenever we click rock, we're going to see this random ass stuff that I put in here. Okay? Also works. Paper also works. Scissors also works. Okay? But is this good enough? No. We need to do more. We need to look at the player's choice. Okay? Look, we passed the player's choice here on line 26, line 27, line 28, but we didn't capture it. Now we just did. We captured that value and we put it inside of a variable called player choice. Now I anticipate that when I click rock, I'll see that random string and then I'll see rock. Okay? So I click rock, we see that random string and we see rock. We click paper, we see that random string, we see paper. Okay? Obviously for scissors, this behaves the exact same way. Okay, so now the question becomes, how can I mimic a random computer choice? So my suggestion would be to define a new variable. We'll call this one choices. And what's gonna go inside of here? Rock, paper, scissors, right? We're playing rock, paper, scissors. There's only 3 possible choices, right? So how can we randomly select an item from an array? We just Google, okay? Random select element from array JavaScript. Oops, I spelled that wrong. And we can see that Stack Overflow comes in and saves us today. As a tip, whenever you guys are Googling for Stack Overflow, I suggest you just look at the most voted response. That's the best thing you can do. I'm gonna copy the whole thing, okay? Copy this whole line. I'm gonna paste it right below. And you can see that our code editor automatically starts complaining. It says it doesn't know what items are. The objective here, what it's trying to say is like, look, we need to look inside of our choices array, and then depending on how long this array is, we select one of those elements. That's all it works out to be. And I guarantee you that if we console log item right here, we're just gonna see either paper, rock, or scissors. Okay? So I console log, I click, it's scissors, paper, rock. Okay? And notice how the random choice always changes. No matter if I click the same thing over and over again. Let me do this one more time, okay? I click scissors. This time it's scissors. I click it again, it's paper. So I've just proven to you that what happens on line 12 is that this simply randomly selects a choice. That's all it does. It simply selects a single element out of this array, okay? What is inside of this array? There's 3 choices. There can only be paper, rock, or scissors when they're playing paper, rock, or scissors. Okay? I don't like the name item here, guys. What's a better name? Computer choice is a better name. Okay? Okay, so now we'll go ahead and delete this. Delete this. We understand our code. It's not that we randomly did it. We were checking. We were checking as we wrote it, and then as we proved our thoughts, we proved our knowledge of the code, then we could delete. Because we know what the values are going to be. So now the question becomes, how can I compare them? So I say, hey, if the player's choice is equal to rock, now we're going to do what? We're going to define a new variable that's going to hold the outcome, okay? So we're going to say outcome equals, if the player chose rock and the computer chose paper, who won? I chose rock. The computer chooses paper. Who won?
Computer won.
Computer won. Otherwise, it has to be the exact opposite, okay? It has to. There's no other choice. Well, actually, there is one other choice. But I'm gonna save, okay? It's called a guard clause. We're gonna guard against this issue, okay? So if I choose rock and the computer chooses rock, right? What's gonna happen? It would say that the player won. That's the bug. Let's think about this. If the player chooses rock and the computer chooses rock, rock is not paper, so it's gonna, for some reason, there's a bug. That's all there is to it. There's a bug. It's gonna say that the computer or that the player won. But we're gonna guard against that in a second, okay? So now, let me go ahead and define this outcome. Okay, we define this variable. Now we're just going to copy these 3 lines down. Okay, and we're gonna cover the other ones: rock, paper, scissors. And like, to me, to make this easier to think about, I always think about it from the player's perspective. Okay, it's easier for us to think about ourselves. Okay, so if I chose paper and the computer chooses rock, who won? I chose paper, the computer chooses rock, I won. Right? But I want to keep this neat. Okay, I'm going to keep this neat right here. So I'm going to do the exact opposite. I don't want to change computer 1 right here. So I'm just going to make it be that the computer 1 right here. So if I choose paper and the computer chooses scissors, then the computer won. Otherwise, the player won. Right? And the last option is if the computer chooses scissors, or if I choose scissors and a computer chooses paper, did the computer win? No, the computer lost. So I'm going to change this to be rock. Okay? That's simple. Now here's our last case that we need to solve, okay? If the player choice is equal to the computer choice, what happened? Tie game. Very simple, okay? So now let's go ahead and prove what we've done, okay, before we do anything else. This console log, player choice, computer choice, and I just did this wrong. Fuck. Computer choice. Now we're gonna do outcome next. Okay. Outcome. So I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna refresh it. I click rock. The player chose rock. The computer chose rock. What was the outcome? Okay. Let's do it again. The player chose paper. The computer chose rock. Who won? Does paper beat rock? That seems pretty obvious, right? Let's do it one more time. The player chooses scissors. The computer chose paper. Who won? Okay, so that seems like it works. So,
I thought you had to put the tie game on the top because you're saying if it was the same, it was a bug before you put the tie game.
So look, if I put this the same, right? Let's see what happens, okay? If I look for the choice again, right? Player choice is equal to computer choice. Okay, let's just hard code computer's choice as rock to prove this example. The computer's choice is rock. What's going to happen? I'm going to choose rock, okay? I'm going to hard code this bad boy, okay? I choose rock, the computer chose rock. Why did the player win? Because this evaluates to true. The computer chose rock, the player chose rock, line 17 executes. But then on line 22, this is also true. The player still chose rock, right? The player chose rock. The computer's choice was not paper, right? So then it forced this situation in which the player won because this is a ternary operator. Ternary operator can only have 2 outcomes, right? So that's why I took this technique. I don't know if this is the best technique, but it works. Okay, this will work for now. I welcome you guys to write better code than me. I want to see you guys write better code than me. That would make me very happy. Okay, this is what is going to work for now. And I'm just going to leave this for right now until I can think of a better solution. This is why the tie needs to go last. Does that make sense? Right here, player chose rock, computer chose rock, yet for some reason there was a bug. The bug is that it thinks that the player won. So that's what this is guarding.
It's true, it exits.
No, we didn't return. There's no return key, so it could not exit. And the reason why I do not want to have a return keyword is because we need to do a couple different. We need to do what now? We perform some calculations. Now that we've confirmed that this function behaves the way that we expect, what's the last thing we need to do? Yes, we need to set the state of our application, right? Because when they click the button, the user is actually updating the state, right? And there's many things that are going to occur. So what is going to occur, guys? We're going to set our choice to be the player choice, okay? We're going to set our computer choice to be the computer choice. We're going to set our count to be this.state.count plus 1. But then we're going to set outcome to be outcome. Okay? Now I save it, I refresh, I hit enter. Does it work? I'm not sure. Did I say this? Oh, my bad. The reason why this is working, because what did I not fix here? Computer choice. So I save it, I refresh it, I choose rock. Computer chose rock. Oh, also I didn't update the hard code. Yeah, this one right here, my bad. Okay, I choose rock. Computer chose paper, right? So now what's the last thing we need to do? Not the last thing, what's one more thing we need to do? We gotta prompt the user, guys. Okay, we gotta say, hey, outcome is right here. Okay, and then we stick it in a P, and we're gonna stick what in here? This, dot state, dot outcome. Okay, we save it, we refresh, I click. If we both chose rock, who won? It's a tie game. If I chose paper, tie game. What's going on here? Okay, that's working, it is working. Okay, this is not actually very good though, guys. Why? I can't really see. Okay, like I'm not really that good at reading. Okay, I want an image. Okay, so let's do a little bit more. Let's just Google rock, paper, scissors. Just jack some images off the internet. Let's make them all the same size. Okay, it's okay to Google something that is exactly the same size, because we don't have a designer right now. Okay, but in the future, when you guys are working at a company, it's okay to tell your designer you need a graphic that is exactly a certain size. We do that every single day at Coder School. We go up to you, that girl, she doesn't speak English that well. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about, but every single day, pretty much, someone goes up to her and says, I need a different graphic. That's how we're gonna make things look beautiful. Okay, it's almost impossible to make an image work beautiful on all screen sizes. So I'm gonna copy the image address. I'm gonna save it up top. Okay, this is gonna be a global variable, const choices. And what's gonna go inside of here, guys? Yep, thank you. Here's my rock. Okay, rock, paper, scissors. Okay, so now we need what? Need some paper. Okay, we're gonna copy this one right here. I don't even know what it looks like. Does that work? I think it works. Paper. I hope this works. This internet's really bad right now, guys. I'm sorry. Fuck, it's really slowing down this lesson. Ah! Come on, baby. I need this image. Copy this image right here. Copy image address. Okay. Paste this right here. So now what can we do, guys? Yep, we need an image, okay, and then we need to set this to what? This dot state dot not enough. This is a value that becomes a string. We need to look at choices, and then we need to look at a certain key. That's what we need to do right there, okay? Then this one's gonna be computer choice. I save it, I jump back over here, I refresh, click one, and we do in fact see it. And I think our paper was a bad choice, okay? Open image in new tab. That looks good. Let's replace paper. Okay, let's try this again. I click, and we do in fact see images now. If I click paper, it does in fact work, right? The computer chose, or I chose paper, the computer chose scissors. Who won? Right? Okay, so that was a quick introduction to state. Okay, now I want you guys all to do this, and for those of you who have already done this, I want to see percentages. Now, I want to see a list right here. I want to see a list of all the games who played, who won, who lost, and then below that, I want to see how many rocks were chosen, how many papers were chosen, and etc. And then when you're done with that, I'll come up with something else. Okay? Now I want you guys to